Hello, Forecaster here again, and we are back for episode 79. And the very first thing we're going to do in this episode is correct a mistake I made in the last one. And that mistake is in here. I'm going to place down a torch so you can see what's going on. So, I set this thing up, and it's working well for now, but it won't be for about 20 more logs. And that is because I made a dumb. So the level control is connected to this drawer here. This drawer is currently full, which means that I changed this to 50%, by the way, because it overflowed with 75%. And there were some logs in this one. Now, the problem, of course, is that this won't be getting any more logs once these run out until this empties. And this is not going to empty unless I come and remove some logs from it. So, I need to feed logs from this barrel, or this drawer, into the carpenter. Now, the way I probably want to do this is by rearranging all of this stuff. So we're just going to move the things around. Need to clean up my inventory a little bit. I can get rid of that, and that should do it. And I'm going to want to remove these. So I'm simply going to make the drawer the primary destination for the logs, and then we're simply going to feed logs to the carpenter from the barrel or drawer, whatever. I keep saying barrel. So I'm going to want to put the clay pipe here, and I'll have to plug that later. Then I want the barrel or drawer here. Then we're going to put an omnidirectional hopper here. Get the wrench and turn it so it goes from the barrel or drawer to the to the carpenter. Then we're probably going to want to put logs in here and set this to leave one item per slot. I'm going to take some cobblestone and put in these other slots. Now that might not work. Maybe it can only extract from underneath. Or wait, no. This barrel doesn't actually have any logs in it yet. That's why, probably. So, then we're going to want... I might actually move that. The moistener. Then we're going to want to move these as well. And we're going to put one there. And I need air. Still don't know why the air is so terrible in there. Yeah, and then we're going to set up the control system again. Still on the barrel, or drawer. Damn it. Keep saying the wrong name. So we can break this, which is going to spill a whole bunch of logs on the floor, of course. All the logs. And then we're just going to insert them here, and this should be able to pull out, and this should be filling up. There we go. Whoops. That's not where that was supposed to go, but oh well. So let's put this over here instead. Get those. And then we're going to move this again. So put it in the wrong place. Come here. You. And then we can get rid of this. And this. And this isn't really particularly accessible back there anyway. Then we're going to want a clay pipe. Going to want one there, and then we can put a regular pipe there. Could put a clay pipe there as well, I suppose. Doesn't really matter, and I get one free slot in my inventory, which I'm going to need because I'm going to move the water pipes a bit. Because I want the item pipe to get to the top clay pipe first. So we're going to I hate wasting things, so I'm going to remove these and have the pipe go here instead, and then we need to put the wire back, and then that's simply going to connect there. Put the pipe wire on there, and then we're going to put the gate back. Can put it right there. Then we need a log. We need to set this to contains less than 50% logs. Actually, let's wait with that, and we want red pipe signal. There. Oh, it actually used. That can't be right. Can it? That can't be right. That's not less than half. What? I am not sure what that's about. Not sure at all. Wonder if it has... I could have sworn it worked before. Not sure. I might need another drawer because this this one is intended for saplings, in case those start to get output. So I might need an overflow barrel for logs, but then I would need something that takes those logs and try to feed them back into the main drawer to keep it full. Stupid heat stroke. So now we have a bunch of logs coming in. These should be full by now. They are. I wonder when this will shut off. Maybe the level detection isn't quite working. Maybe the drawer is reporting the wrong capacity or something. This should be well over 50%. If it stores 1032 or 24 or whatever it was, 980 should be well over that. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. It might fill up before it actually shuts off the gate. This might very well be some sort of bug. Not sure where though. Probably the barrel is not reporting its size correctly. Because the problem is that there are a lot of logs in the pipe that is traveling down here, and if it doesn't shut off until the drawer is full, all of those. See, now it turned off the farm, but there's still a bunch of logs in the pipe that are going to find their way here, and they're not going to be able to go in the barrel. So eventually it's going to overflow in about 4 logs, I think, and then those are going to go into this barrel down here. So now the remainder of the logs are not going to be able to fit, and they're going to overflow into here. And then we have some sand as well. So this appears to be a bug. Hopefully it'll get fixed soon. I'm not sure what to do until then. I suppose I'll have to let this overflow and put hoppers on the side that take logs from this and feed into this barrel. Because otherwise this will also fill up eventually. Because the same thing will be happening over and over, and this is not emptied currently. But yeah. So trying to get rid of this pulp I got. Alright, so, but that should be working a little better. I'm going to have to fix the overflow issue later. Now we're going to move on to the next point, which is this stuff you might have noticed here. This is liquid experience, or simply XP. And this thing here I made between episodes is a blacksmith's assistant. Now, you may have seen in previous episodes, I prepared some tools using this blacksmith's anvil from upstairs. And you can place just about anything on this anvil. And if it's a tool that has, or if it's something that has durability, like, for example, the turbine blade in here, the rotor, if I place this on here and hit it with this hammer, you're going to see that my experience is decreasing as with every hit, and each hit repairs or restores 1 point of durability, or 1 use, to the item until it is completely repaired, or until you run out of experience. The drawbacks, of course, include having to hit the item once for each point, and if it's something like a diamond pickaxe or a steel pickaxe or something with a huge amount of uses, you're going to have to hit it quite a lot of times to repair it fully. Not to mention it also costs experience, of course. And if the item is enchanted, the experience cost is increased a lot. For every hit, I believe it takes about 4 of these chunks at lower levels, if there's a bunch of enchantments on it. And the more enchantments there are, the more expensive it's going to be. So the blacksmith's assistant, of course, is an automated way of doing this. So it's simply going to, it uses the liquid experience in this tank, and it slowly repairs whatever is on this anvil. And you can put 4 anvils, up to 4 anvils around this on all sides, and 4 of these hammers. And the advantage of this, of course, is that I don't have to stand here and hit the item. It is slightly slower because I can click faster than this hits, and this is deliberate, of course. It's a drawback of using this automated way. And also the liquid experience, the only way to get this, unless you have something like open blocks that have ways of liquefying or extracting experience from the player. I don't have any of that. The only way I have is the mariculture way, which is what's adding these things, of course. And that is to have a crucible furnace with an ethereal upgrade in it. And if you have an ethereal upgrade in the crucible, if you put something like a tool or armor or anything except enchanted books in here with an enchantment on it, like this, if I put this in, for example, you'll see it starts working. It's going to remove the enchantments, all the enchantments on the item. As you can see in the tooltip there, the melting point is 1500, so it needs to be at almost max temperature. I get 1.3 buckets of liquid molten experience, and I get the tool back, 100% chance to get the item back unharmed. And I get a bunch of liquid experience. So, like I said, you can't use enchanted books, but this provides a way of disenchanting items with enchantments you don't want. And it also produces liquid experience that I'm going to use for this, of course, because this is the only use for it. There's no way in mariculture to get this or turn this into experience points or bottle or bottles of enchanting or something like that. So I can't get this into my experience bar. So once I've enchanted an item, I'm not going to get that experience back. I can only use it to repair other items. And of course, another drawback or cost of using this is that this hammer will wear out, even when I use it myself, or when the assistant is using it. So it will break eventually, and I will have to make new ones, and these cost nether bricks and some lava, basically, which is what these are, pretty much. They're not terribly expensive, but still kind of they're a little time-consuming to make. I go to the nether occasionally to get netherrack and lava, of course, to make them. So that's neat. I have repaired some things with this, like my musket was kind of broken. And of course I had, the reason I have so much liquid experience is because I had a chest upstairs full of armor and weapons that dropped from mobs. This chest here was completely full. Apparently I still have some stuff in here. With mostly enchanted things that had dropped off of zombies, mostly. So I processed all of those things and got the amount of experience I have right now. But it's going to be harder to get more once I've run out. I am probably going to produce a bunch of stuff I don't want, though, so I can just disenchant it. I did enchant this at level 30. As you can see, I've moved the enchantment table in here and surrounded it with vanilla bookshelves because I want level 30, which I have now. And I made this, which got efficiency 4 and fortune 3, which is nice. I'm going to try, once I get 30 levels again, I'm going to try enchanting this with the goal of getting Silk Touch, because I want that. And if I don't get it on that, I'm probably going to disenchant it and try again next time, because I want a pickaxe with Silk Touch. There's one other way of getting it, which is with Industrial Craft 2. The Iridium Drill upgrade, which requires iridium plates, of course. This has fortune 3, and you can switch it so it has Silk Touch instead. So you can toggle between those. Of course, getting iridium requires iridium ore. And the only way to get this, I think, is with a replicator, which requires UU matter, of course. So that's quite a bit off. I don't have any of that stuff yet. Now, let's get on to the next point, which is this. So I have made a set of transposers, which means that I can now complete or continue working on the factory. So yeah, you get 4 of these per recipe. So I made a bunch of these, required some circuit boards and chips and stuff. And I have got all the components I need for the computer. So we're going to, actually, first we're going to look at this. So in here I have a floppy disk with the OpenOS on it. And to get this, you need to craft a floppy disk, and then you need to craft that floppy disk with the Open Computers manual. And that is going to give you the disk with the OpenOS operating system on it. That was kind of a redundant statement. And you need that to actually use the computer, because a computer without an operating system is not going to do a whole lot. You also need the EEPROM with the Lua BIOS on it, because a computer without BIOS is also quite useless. And this is crafted, you need an EEPROM which is crafted like that, and then you craft that with another Open Computers manual. And then we have a graphics card, processor, hard disk drive, and 2 tier 1 memory cards. And you need at least 2 tier 1 memory cards to run OpenOS. So if I try to start it with just one, it says not enough memory. So it's not going to be able to do anything. So if we put the other card in, it's going to reinitialize. And we now see that we have a working operating system. Now, the OpenOS is currently running off of this floppy disk, as you could hear by when it was loading. This was making noises. I actually want it on the hard drive, so I don't need the disk anymore. So I'm going to type in install, and then we get a list of all of the hard drives, which is currently only one in the computer, and we can choose which to install it on. I'm going to pick 1, of course, because I can pick a number between 1 and 1. So now it's going to copy the operating system off of the floppy disk into the hard drive, and then it's going to automatically set the hard drive as the boot device. So the next time, and then it's going to reboot the computer. I might not do it automatically, I might have to do it manually. But then it's going to boot off of the hard drive instead of the floppy disk. So this is going to take a little bit of time. There we go. And then we type in yes to reboot. And you will now notice that the disk drive is quiet. Except right now. But when the operating system was loading, it didn't make it any noise, because it was loading from the hard drive instead. So now we can remove this. You can also shift right click to not open the interface. So now all that remains is for me to write the control program for the factory. And simply the way I plan for this to work is I'm going to have files, I think, that define recipes, or rather files that indicate where what can be crafted and which of these packagers are responsible for it. And to indicate a packager, I need the address of a transposer and then the side of that transposer. And then to craft something, the transposer is simply going to grab the package that is going to be sitting here out of the packager and put it in this crate here. Then I'm going to have something that is going to extract anything that's in this crate and take it to this stamping table to be stamped. And then we of course have things like this that require something that is crafted by another packager. I'm then going to have the program try to grab this package, and if it fails, it's going to assume that there are components missing that aren't being provided by that is crafted by another packager. So then that file is going to have what those components are. It's then going to grab those instead, grab the package from here and put in here. Then it's going to wait a period of time to allow for that to be stamped and taken into an inventory that the logistics drones can take it from the and input it into the, for example, this packager here, provide this with some transistors from that inventory, and then it's going to try again once that time has elapsed. And by then it's hopefully has received the components it needs. Then it's going to have a package waiting here which it can grab, and then that will be sent into the stamper. And then it's going to repeat that for how many components I requested. That's a plan. I will see if it actually works out. We will see. Then, of course, as I need more things, I can have at most 4 packagers per transposer. So I have these 3 on this side and 1 underneath, and on this one I can have 3 and then 1 on top, because one side is reserved by the crate and one by the cable connection to the computer. So if I want more, I'm going to have to expand this way and add more clusters of these. Of course, the transposer can't transport items through this cable or anything. This isn't applied energistics. It can only move items or fluids from one of its sides to another. And that's why this crate is here. But now we've reached the end of the episode. So I'm going to end it here, and in between this episode and the next one, I'm going to start coding the control program for my crafting system, and hopefully in the next episode I will have something interesting to show you. So I will see you then.